Thanks for Vitaly for this invitation. So he just asked me if I can talk to something or about something. And since this is a meetup about quality, so I talk about quality and communication. So communication is everything. So also quality. And just maybe to introduce myself a little bit. So I'm Frank. I'm Frank Hampe. So in English, Frank Hampe. I'm based in Berlin, and I'm a Scrum Master, Agile Coach, or Project Manager. So since a couple of years, and I'm not a technician. So I'm not a programmer. So I've studied engineering some decades before, but now I'm working as part of this Agile teams. And talking about quality is of course the question: what is quality? And maybe think about a situation which is maybe a little bit unrealistic. So please imagine you have maybe found an apartment in Berlin and you want to move in. So maybe you would like to put some cupboards on the wall or some paintings or your art collection or so to present it. And if it should be stable, so you will not use a hammer and a nail, so maybe you will use a drilling machine. So, and then the question is, okay, if you want to have a drilling machine, you can Google or you check, search in the internet, and maybe you find something like this. So, this is an offer here from Bauhaus here in Berlin. So it's a household. What is it? Impact drilling machine. So. Has everything what you need to put a hole in the wall, and it's with a 5 stars rating. So, is this a quality product? Let's see. I don't know. So, maybe if you Google it a little bit further, you find things like this. So, this is a Hilti. So, this is a professional drilling machine for construction workers. Maybe they build skyscrapers and whatever, and it's about 1,561 euros without VAT. So the other one is with VAT, so about 33, and this is without. So maybe something like 1,800 euros. Is this a quality product? So that's the question. So. That was a thing. So it's a fun fact that I've heard. I don't know really the source of it. Somebody calculated the netto or the net drilling time of a household drilling machine. So, and if you imagine you drill this hole in the wall, so you do it like this, then the hole is in, if the wall is okay, so I would say. So that was maybe 3 seconds or 4 seconds. So, and I don't have the real number in my head, but I think it was really funny. So that in the whole lifetime of this drilling machine, about 20 years or so, the net drilling time was under 1 hour. So it's really a thing. So imagine you have 10 holes, and then you use it 40 seconds, and then you put it in the cellar and leave it there for 1 year, and then you need one more hole in your apartment, and you put it back and to use it for another 5 seconds, and then you put it back for a year. So that's really a thing. So now imagine this Hilti thing here. So it's a professional drilling machine, and as I mentioned, maybe they build skyscrapers or tunnels or bridges and so on, and they have to drill a lot of holes. So, and these construction workers are using it, and maybe they are working in shifts and so on, and this machine is always there on this construction area. So maybe you can think about it's drilling 1 or 2 hours a day. So maybe this is realistic. So if you count this together, so 1 day and 5 days a week and 50 weeks a year and 20 years, so it's about 10,000 hours of drilling time for this Hilti tool here. And if you think now, okay, if I need 10,000 hours, you can buy 10,000 of this Einhell tools and throw it away after 1 day, because then it's gone. You have to pay 33,000. Okay, then this 1,800 is quite cheap maybe. So that's again the question: what is a quality product? And so the answer is, of course, always the same: who, it's what, and why. So it's exactly the thing. So if you if you think about this Einheit, so it had a 5-star rating. So it's a quality product because it is designed exactly for the need of the customer, for the thing it is made for. Just being a drilling machine for the household. And the same is with the Hilti. So this is also designed for the customer. And so this is the thing we have, of course, to consider if we are working with products and if we are creating products. And maybe just a question here in the audience: how many of you are building products, or are maybe creating software and so on? Are developers? So that's the most of this. Okay, very good. So I think I will not really tell you something new, but maybe it's a reminder of the things and also what I maybe see in my projects, what I'm doing here. So of course we need first to talk about the who. So who is your customer? So of course, and so that's the thing. Okay, what is the guy? So is this is it a special, I would say, range of age maybe? Is it maybe more male or more female, or what is it? So where is she living? What is she loving? And all this stuff. So what and who is your customer? This is really the big question, and therefore you need to design your product. So and of course you need you know this concept of personas and avatars and so on. But you need to ask these questions, and practically, so the letters are giving you the questions. So that's quite easy. So the who, the W stands for work. So where is she or he working? Your customer how is she working, or is your customer working? And so that's one of the big questions you have. Another one is the age. Okay, it can stand for home. So where is your customer living? What is your customer doing? How it's the surrounding, and so on. And of course, the other thing, the O, you can take for the objectives. What are the objectives of your customer? And what are they need? What are they needing? So just the thing. So if I think about special ages, so I can also think about my mother. So she's 85, and so we are talking sometimes with FaceTime. So this thing, and it's okay. She knows this now and so on. But if I see her working with mobile phones like iPhones and tablets and so on, it's always interesting that for her it is quite hard to understand that there are functions without a button. So you have to press your finger on the screen, and then the button appears, and then you can do something. And she never stores, okay, what do I have to do something? So if you imagine you are have your, I would say, high time in the 60s or 70s, and you have maybe an audio device, each function has one button. So there was a button on it. So you can press it on and off, and you can do travel and bass and so on. So everything had one button, and you can store this, and you know what to do if you want to have something. So that's really a little example of the things where you need, of course, to know who's your customer. If your customer is at the age of 80 plus, you maybe need to design your product a little bit different than if you would design it for your colleagues, since you are really digital natives and programmers and know computers and everything by heart. So that's just the thing with who. But of course, we had not only the who, we have also the what. So, and here the question is, of course, what are the problems of your customer? So what are the things the customer is thinking about? So what are the things maybe you can help him with your product? And so also here, we can just take the letters and ask some questions, like using the W for, what is the customer worried about? So, what is the problem, what they have? And the most important thing, of course, creating a product is understanding the problem. And then you can take, again, the H for, okay, how can I help my customer here? So on my goal. So how can I solve this problem? How can I help? But don't think or don't forget to ask the next question is, do we have maybe an easy and smart and maybe cheap alternative for the first idea what we have? So most likely the simple things are the best things. So maybe there are some alternatives that are even better than the first idea. And the next thing is you can use the T for testing. So this problem, the solution, what you are thinking about needs to be tested. And just thinking about, I want to have a tool that makes me rich in 1 year. It's maybe hard to test. So, okay, what is rich and what is a tool? And I don't know. So think about the tests, of course, as well. So, and then we come to the next, the why. Why are we helping others? Because we want to make others happy. So that's, I think, most likely the thing what we have in our mind. And so therefore the thing, okay, what makes our customer really happy? What makes them excited, and what makes them maybe suggest this product to others, to friends, recommend it, and so on. So if we go back to our letters, so we can have this customer welfare. So what is the really benefit of the thing? What is the value for the customer? And then we can use the H, of course, for the happiness. Happiness at work, of course, or happiness at using your tool, your product. This is one of the big reasons what your customer has, of course, and what we should find out what makes our customer happy. And then the why you can, of course, use for the extra mile. So if they are really yelling for excitement. So not only solve the problem of the customer, maybe do it a little bit more so that they are really excited and say, oh, that's really more than I have expected. So if you think about this, what can I do a little bit more than expected? Then maybe your customer is really excited, and he starts or she starts to love your product, not only use it. So this is also a thing what we need, of course, to consider if we are working with product and if we are creating products. So now I said, maybe I said it's maybe nothing really new for you, and this thing what I'm telling you is maybe also not so new for you, but I saw in some of my projects that even if a lot of people know the things, we are not acting in a way. So first is, of course, if you want to communicate with your customer, do you have the time for this? So what is your, I would say, ratio for communication, creative things compared to maybe mindless repetitive tasks? So I know there's this Pareto principle, this 80-20 thing, and now I don't know, look at this, this communication 20%, coding, testing, documentation 80%. Maybe you can raise your hand if this fits somehow to your real world, or maybe not. So maybe you are lucky, you have another ratio, but this is maybe the worst case here, or the bad case, not maybe the worst, but the bad case. So, but there are some, I think, often there are some still projects where documentation, writing test cases, doing manual tests is really a high percentage of the daily work. And I think we don't need this anymore, not in this level what we have at the moment. So, and the question is, okay, how to do it? So let's maybe do a little magic here and change this to how, what's the answer? So maybe you know it, and this is of course a topic for us at the moment. Everybody knows, of course, we should be more efficient with AI. Yeah, so it's just a thing to change this ratio a little bit. This would be our goal. But let's think about the normal user story. You know this user story concept, and I think everybody works with user stories. But if I go into projects and look into user stories in Jira or ADO or whatever tool, I see a lot of user stories where there's written, I want to have a database. Okay, that's a user story. So, or just the header, create database. Okay. So everybody knows that the user story contains 3 parts. Who needs what and why? We just talked about this. So why do we not use it? So I really said I really read it last week in another team. There was a user story. I want. So okay, who is this I? Okay, here's a guy who maybe seems or sees itself as the big manager, and everybody, okay, he wants it. This is interesting. So I have to do it, of course, because he wants it. It's really strange. Or sometimes I often read this thing, as a product owner, I want. I don't know how often you see user stories with product owner or I, and how often you see user stories where the why part is missing. Do you see them, or are you all using the 3 parts in user stories? Okay, sometimes you see it. Yeah. Okay, so it's just a thing. You all know user stories, and if you just have the front side, so maybe I go here, so then you can see it maybe better. Just as an example. So we have this, as a user, I want my own profile so that I don't always have to re-enter all the data. Okay, it's a normal thing. But then, of course, we only have this description in the user story. We also have acceptance criteria. So also, you know this, but there are often acceptance criteria completely missing, or acceptance criteria as maybe sort of a little technical concept or something like that. But the acceptance criteria are the business needs, what this story is about. And you should, as a team, of course, in the refinements or whatever, you should discuss what can be in the story, what we have maybe to split out. And the only question is always, does the story fit into a sprint? So we just, as in this example here, we have here, so maybe a screen for entering username and password, or maybe we have a forgotten password function, or we have something like a secure password check, or that maybe we can edit the data, the profile, can upload some images, whatever. So these are the parts that can be in the acceptance criteria, and after the discussion that you have in the refinement, to find out, okay, this will be then our story, and then it's agreed, and so on. So yeah, but how maybe you can speed up or increase the quality of user stories. So I know this is just an example, and I know maybe you know better tools, but there are tools like this thing here, this product Copilot. Don't know if you want to go to this web page here. There's a funny video on this with a real nice German accent from this guy. So it's just a GPT where they just use, and this GPT is asking some questions, and after you have gone through this, your user story has a quite high quality. So that's just another thing for product owners to create user stories. Maybe it's a little bit longer than just writing a header, so do the database or something like that. But of course, the discussion what you have, if you don't have a specified user story, is much more longer than the time you spend with such an AI tool to to create a good user story, what the team is able to understand and is able to, to get the context and so on and so on. So that was just the thing with the user story. But of course, the acceptance criteria and the user story has something else as well inside this. So these are the test script. So if you have good acceptance criteria, of course, it is more or less inserted the test cases like something like this. So the screen for entering username and test and password, there's maybe a test case here, okay, enter user and password. Then you have the case, okay, or the variant, the password is correct, you are logged in, or the password is not correct, and there's an error message. So just a simple thing. You can generate this from the acceptance criteria directly if you have good acceptance criteria. So, and of course, you can create all these test cases here. And also for this, of course, the question is, do you have really to write all these test cases? And therefore, you can just ask ChatGPT for using this. So I just tested it with I created a little GPT here, the Agido field test case creator. So I just copied the user story. Oh, this is a little trap here. Dangerous. I just copied this user story in there, and then it just wrote a couple of test cases just in less than a minute. So you can always download ChatGPT, so you can see the tool writing, and you have a lot of test cases then. And you can use this, or maybe if you use it for automated testing, you can just ask ChatGPT, okay, convert this to the Cucumber syntax or Gherkin syntax. So if you use this maybe for automated testing, or maybe you use something else for automated testing, it just creates the syntax for the test case, and you can just put it into your tool. So of course you need to rework this. You need to check this if this is the thing what you really want to have tested. But alone the time you need to type this is longer than pressing the button, and then it types for you, and you can cut and paste. So that's really a time saving tool. So AI, and imagine 1 year ago we had this AI started being in our minds. Now after 1 year we can use this ChatGPT 4.0 and just talk with our handy or with our mobile here. It's incredible. And now imagine next year, so even if you maybe find out that the coding or whatever, this Cucumber thing is not does not meet your expectations at the moment, I imagine in 1 year or half a year or even in weeks, it will be better and better. So try it out and save time, and therefore we can change this ratio. So we have then more time to work on the real things. So like this. So coding, testing, doku 20% and communication 80%. That would be a thing what the future will bring. So we need to change our minds maybe, because I know, so I'm also a lazy person, and sometimes being creative and all-time communication is somehow exhausting. And so if I can do something cut and paste, and it's quite easy and I don't have to think, so maybe it's also a good thing. But I think the future will bring us to the situation that we have to be communicative persons instead of just writing code. If it's, of course, coding, then it's okay. But I mean, these things like documentation, test cases, and so on, these are the things which are repetitive, that are not that creative. This can be made by AI. Okay. So, yeah, I would say thank you. And, of course, let's stay in contact. You can maybe go in contact here with LinkedIn here, so you can use this QR code if you want to connect me directly, or I stay here, of course, until the rest of this evening. So thanks for your attention. And of course, are there any questions or comments or something? That's
questions. I'll come to you with the microphone. I have.
Ah,